This summary of the fine art of small talk, how to start a conversation, keep it going, build networking skills, and leave a positive impression by Deborah Fine is about to begin. Enjoy! Key point 1. Small talk, big deal. Words are so valuable that many religions have attached sacred significance to them. For example, in Christianity, God created the world with His word. Buddhist monks recited mantras for centuries, and voodoo shamans actively used chants during their rituals. The individuals who were skillful with words became legends. Casanova could win a person's heart in a single conversation, and Machiavelli charmed royal courts so successfully that nobles believed he had a supernatural power. You are a magician too, and every day you use a spell. It is called small talk. Today, many people do not understand the true potential of small talk and consider it just basic politeness. However, in communication, small talk is the key to everything: romance, friendship, a successful career, and excellent business deals. A good first impression can provide a reliable partner and $1 million benefit, while an ominous phrase in the middle of a conversation can ruin years of cooperation. Fortunately, you can control the outcome with practical methods. Relationships start with a conversation like a mighty tree grows from a seed. Do you want to charm with charisma from the first hello? Stay with us and find out how. Key point 2. Let's destroy the myths. Think back to your childhood. Did you hear phrases like, "Silence is golden," or "Don't talk to strangers"? While these sayings may make sense when raising a child, the adult world plays by different rules that no one explains. However, the burden of previous knowledge often prevents us from learning new information, so let's first dispel the myths to take the first step toward successful small talk. The past is something that happened to you, not something that determines your future. Myth 1. Don't talk to strangers. If you're in a safe situation, start a conversation. Everyone is a stranger before you meet them for the first time, but that's no reason to limit yourself in communication. Most people will be neutral toward you, so you can easily sway them to like you and find many new contacts. You never know which one will bring joy or benefit. Myth 2. Wait to be introduced appropriately. This point may vary from culture to culture, but today's world focuses on practicality. So long dating rituals are a thing of the past and only feature in historical dramas. If you approach and introduce yourself to the person you're interested in, nothing bad will happen. Myth 3. Silence is golden. If you are hiding in a dark forest because a ninja is trying to find you, silence is the best bet. But in all other cases, silence can tense the atmosphere. People may think you are uninterested in them, angry, or rude. Small talk exists to create a surface contact and show your personality before you talk about deeper topics. So, even chatting about the weather is better than an awkward silence. Myth 4. Good things come to those who wait. Yes, you can wait, but you can also master your life and take what you want. It's unlikely that a new job, romantic partner, or good friend will just appear out of the blue. Instead, give yourself a chance to seek them out and start a conversation. Remember that you control all communication. You determine when it starts and ends and the boundaries of its privacy. And by the end of this guide, you'll not only know how to connect meaningfully, but also have a hands-on checklist to make each interaction count. For now, learn a new spell to break the ice. Key point 3. Breaking the ice. If you wait for someone else to start a conversation, you're being cruel to yourself. Why? Because you shouldn't let another person affect your comfort or fulfillment. A much better option is to initiate communication on your own terms and purpose. A good way to do this is to use icebreakers, phrases to set the atmosphere and learn more about your partner. Putting yourself first occasionally is not an egoistic trait, but a healthy way to improve your life. You've undoubtedly heard at least the most popular ones, such as, "What do you do for a living?" or "How was your weekend?" Unfortunately, they are often overused and therefore can sound insincere. So, here are some more interesting icebreakers for different situations. Let's start with business icebreakers. What is your typical day at work like? How did you come up with this idea? How does your previous experience help with this task? How do new technologies affect your work processes? What advice would you give someone just starting in your business field? If you need to initiate more common conversations, use these social icebreakers. What do you think of this movie, book, or song? Where was your best vacation? Where did you grow up? Who are your childhood idols? What is your favorite holiday? You can come up with dozens of other topics, but to be successful, consider a few tips. First, as you may have noticed, icebreakers should be personalized. People like to share their successes and preferences, so give them a chance to talk about something important. If you're careful, you can even consider the elements in their clothes and start the conversation with, for example, the badge of their favorite band on their bag. Secondly, icebreakers should give space for storytelling. Do not ask questions that can be answered simply with a yes or no. Instead of "Do you like summer?" ask, "How do you like this time of year? What do you like and dislike about it?" It will open up the conversation, and you may even learn something unexpected for further discussion. Key point 4. The most wanted criminals. Although a magician may be mighty, they should still be wary of assassins. These criminals can hide well and possess tricks that kill even pleasant conversations, and sometimes you might unconsciously join the forces of evil too. But today, we will face these enemies and learn how to fight them. The FBI agent. This person will always ask many questions without telling you anything about themselves, and the conversation will feel like an interrogation. To neutralize them, take control of the dialogue and suggest a topic acceptable to you. The braggart. This type will always brag about their best and most significant achievements, making all other participants in the dialogue seem futile. If you steer the conversation to a more general topic, such as current events, you'll neutralize them. The one-upper. They also like to brag, but in a specific way. No matter what you say, they will have a story that will be one step ahead and pull the focus on themselves. Gently bring the focus back to yourself. If that doesn't work, don't be afraid to say outright that it's about you. Monopolizer. Here we have a type that is too greedy to let others control the conversation. They will talk endlessly, even believing they are doing a favor to others, even though the whole group may feel uncomfortable. You can trick them, saying their story is fantastic, but you are limited in time. The poor sport. This person doesn't know how to keep the conversation going, even if you ask an open question. Set an example by telling them about something in more detail to set the tone for the conversation. The know-it-all. The most arrogant of all. They always know better, have more experience, and make others feel ashamed. The advisor. This type quickly offers solutions to any problem, even if unwanted. Thank them for their effort, but politely and clearly state that you need other support. Do you need more help with these troublesome types? Don't miss our tailored action plan at the end, packed with tips to perfect your conversational skills starting today. If the butterfly effect exists, your small actions can influence even the most challenging situation. Key point 5. Make the most profit. The human brain likes to get the most out of minimal effort, so make it happy by making small talk work for you. Success doesn't always have to result from sweat and tears. How? Learn from the professionals. The most charismatic speakers and the most successful business people use simple tips that become game changers when executed well. Smile first when you meet someone and shake hands if appropriate. The first seconds of a meeting are priceless, so take advantage of them. Take your time during the introduction. Try to memorize the names of those you are talking to. It positively affects the audience and makes your connection more personal. Maintain eye contact and be careful with body language. Communication is not limited to words. It continues with gestures, facial expressions, and movements. A relaxed body, eye contact, and a slight forward lean during a dialogue will create the impression of a sincere and interested person. Show your interest. Choose at least one detail about each person and demonstrate that you find it fascinating. Personal contact is the basis for long-term relationships. Ask about your conversation partner's opinion. People like to talk about themselves and want to be significant, as it pleases their ego. By using this technique, you will win favor, show yourself as sensitive and polite, and get to know others better. Be prepared. Think about 3 topics you could discuss in case the conversation hits pause. No one likes an awkward silence, so you'll be doing the other person and yourself a favor. By taking on this responsibility, you can naturally get the conversation back on track. We cannot hope that others will approach us. Instead, even if we are shy, it is up to us to make the first move. Deborah Fine. Did you do well during the meeting? Great, but that's not the end of your communication. Once you've laid the groundwork, you can build on it by repeating conversations whenever possible or commenting on social media if you've exchanged contacts. Networking takes effort, but in the long run, a pleasant dialogue over coffee can win you a job, create a business opportunity, or give you a new best friend. Key point 6. When it's time to leave. No matter how interesting the conversation is, there comes a time when you have to leave. How can you do it without offending anyone? Show your wisdom as a true magician and use the methods created by the sages of the past. You only truly realize the value of an event when you reflect on it later. Here are the best time-tested ways to end a dialogue. I need to do something. Depending on the situation in which the communication takes place, there are always options for tasks that you theoretically need to do. Talking to a speaker, buying juice, calling someone, going to the bathroom. There are endless ideas. That way, you have a good reason to end the conversation, encouraging your partner to show understanding. Taking care of business. Your partner can help you end the conversation by asking for a referral. For example, ask a colleague if someone in the room might have a laptop charger for the model you need right now. It will show that you trust them, and you'll be able to switch to another task. Change the guard. There was a rule among the aristocracy of the past. When a new participant came into the conversation, one of the old ones left. Although times have changed, you can use the arrival of another person and shift the focus to them. Show appreciation. Start by saying you were pleased to talk and appreciate the information the other person gave you. That way, you're signaling the conversation has come to an end. Sweet sorrow. If the conversation is pleasant, you can say goodbye and immediately offer to meet again. This way, you will strengthen the connection and at the same time show that you need to go. Whichever option you choose, approach it smoothly and naturally. You never know if you'll meet the same person again, but goodbyes are just as important as first impressions. Make sure you will be remembered as a pleasant person. The end of the conversation represents the last opportunity to establish a connection with someone. Deborah Fine. Did you know? Casual conversations can lower stress levels by releasing oxytocin, a hormone associated with bonding and relaxation, thereby reducing cortisol, the stress hormone. Try this. Ready to make small talk your secret weapon? Use this checklist to start mastering the art of meaningful conversations today. Practice active listening. During your next conversation, focus entirely on the other person. Nod, maintain eye contact, and ask follow-up questions like, "What happened next?" Or, "Why did that mean so much to you?" Commit to letting them speak for at least 70% of the time. Identify conversation pitfalls. Over the next 3 days, reflect on any conversations that didn't go well. Did you interrupt too soon, overshare, or fall into silence? Write down one behavior to improve and actively work on it in your next interaction. Memorize names. Make a conscious effort to repeat someone's name when you meet them, like, "Nice to meet you, Sarah." Aim to do this with 3 people this week and notice how they respond. Prepare 3 go-to topics. Create a mental list of 3 diverse topics you can bring up when the conversation stalls. These could include an interesting article you read, a current event, or your unique hobby. Test them out this week. Experiment with body language. At your next meeting or social gathering, stand with an open posture, lean in slightly while listening, and mirror the other person. Observe how this changes their engagement with you. Challenge yourself. Once a week, start a conversation with someone you'd normally avoid talking to, whether it's a colleague you don't know well or a stranger in a social setting. Push your boundaries. Remember, small talk isn't small. This spark ignites big opportunities. With every conversation, you build a stronger, more connected version of yourself. Summary complete. Please take a moment to rate it so we can help you grow in the best way possible.